In the 1940s, a brand was launched featuring the image of a smiling, elderly black man, simply named Uncle Ben. But behind this friendly facade was a legacy tainted by racial stereotypes that continued to persist. This image invoked a troubling past where black identity was monetized and individuality was reduced to a caricature. So, join us today while we uncover the layers of the racist story of Uncle Ben's rice. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. But without further ado, let's get started. In the early 20th century, food technology saw remarkable advancements, particularly in that of rice processing with the development of the Hasenlaub process. This innovative method was created by German chemist Heinrich Hasenlaub with collaboration with British chemist Francis Heron Rogers. The process involved vacuum drying, steaming, further vacuum drying before dehusking the rice. Not only did this enhance the nutritional value of the rice, but it also reduced the cooking time and improved its resistance from pests like boll weevils. During this time, Mars Inc. was established in Tacoma, Washington in 1911 by Frank C. Mars. The company had humble beginnings, with him and his son, Forrest Mars Sr., producing buttercream candies in their home kitchen. As the business grew, they moved to Minneapolis, where they developed the iconic Milky Way bar in 1923. This creation quickly became a success and laid the foundation for the company's further expansion. So, in 1932, Forrest Mars sought to expand the family business internationally. During his time in the United Kingdom, he was introduced to the potential of the Hasenlaub process and partnered with Heinrich Hasenlaub. This collaboration led to the establishment of a new venture in Houston, Texas, where Mars acquired partial rights to the Hasenlaub patent, paving the way for future innovations. This was at the very beginning of World War II, and it brought challenges to food supply chains, driving the need for some creative solutions. And this necessity gave rise to the utilization of the Hasenlaub process to meet soldiers' nutritional demands. So in 1942, with Forrest Mars' leadership and the expertise of Heinrich Hasenlaub and Houston food broker Gordon Hartwell, Converted Rice Inc. was founded. This venture was instrumental in solving the logistical challenges faced by the United States and the British military forces during the war. The processed rice, rapid cook time, and enhanced nutritional value was ideal for airdropping food to remote military installations, providing the soldiers with essential nourishment. By 1959, Mars had fully consolidated its influence in the industry by purchasing the Hasenlaub's interest, integrating it into the venture Food Mars Inc. So Uncle Ben was introduced in 1946. The brand emerged as a reflection of the racial dynamics in mid-20th century America. Mars Inc. would tell you that Uncle Ben was designed to honor the contributions of African Americans in Southern hospitality, with the packaging that featured Frank Brown, who was a respected maitre d' from a high-end Chicago restaurant, who represented an ideal image of Southern hospitality. This brand strategy was chosen by Gordon L. Hartwell, who admired Brown's sophisticated service and charisma in his visits to Chicago. The brand's name also honored a man named Ben, who was a savvy black rice grower known for his high-quality rice in Houston, Texas. While the brand supposed to invoke Southern culture, it mostly perpetuated racial stereotypes of the era, and it served as a prime example of the problematic use of African-American imagery in marketing. The character of Uncle Ben is rooted in the content slave stereotype during that antebellum period, which later morphed into the loyal servant archetype during Jim Crow. This adaptation was designed to reassure white consumers about the stability of race relations by depicting African Americans as subservient, admirable, and non-threatening. The use of uncle as a title is particularly telling, as it's a racially charged term in the Southern United States, deliberately used to maintain social hierarchies by avoiding more respectful titles. Uncle Ben's character embodies non-threatening, echoing back to Mammy and Sambo stereotypes. characterized by their loyalty and devotion to their white employers. Such images are direct descendants of minstrel stereotypes portraying African Americans as simple, service-oriented, thereby dividing them to roles within domestic servitude or agricultural life while ignoring the nuanced realities of their actual lives and aspirations. In promoting these simplistic, demeaning caricatures, the brand reinforced the cultural narrative that denied African Americans individuality, thus perpetuating this racial hierarchy. But such imagery was not new. Companies during that time leveraged racial caricatures to invoke nostalgia and comfort within white consumers. The character of Uncle Ben, much like Aunt Jemima, served to remind their consumers of a happy servant, a gentle, elderly gentleman contently fulfilling his domestic duties. So, as the civil rights movement began to gain traction in the 1960s, companies would face a backlash for their stereotypical representations. Although Uncle Ben's imagery was briefly minimized in advertisements, it would return in the 1990s. In 2020, after the murder of George Floyd and the rise of racial justice movements, there was growing pressure for brands to be more racially sensitive. So Mars Inc., the company behind Uncle Ben's, responded by changing the brand's name to Ben's Original, removing the image of Frank Brown from his packaging. This change aimed to get rid of outdated stereotypes by showing the brand's commitment to diversity and inclusion. Some in the Black community welcomed the change. They saw it as a part of a larger movement to challenge systemic racism, especially in the business world. However, not everyone was happy with the change. Some people felt that simply changing the brand's name didn't do enough to tackle bigger social equality issues. According to an article from the New York Times, some critics argued that while the rebranding has some symbolic value, it needed to be backed with real action and commitment to racial injustice to make a true impact. The transformation from Uncle Ben to Ben's Original represents a significant shift in American branding. As public awareness and societal issues have evolved, the brands need to recognize the need to change with these alignment shifts. Similar to brands like Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben faced challenges due to reliance on a racist imagery that perpetuated harmful stereotypes. These portraits reinforce social hierarchies, diminish the complex identities of marginalized groups, and obscure the systemic inequalities by using simplistic caricatures to appeal to a majority white audience. Rebranding efforts like these, while they are a step forward in progress and acknowledge such injustices, have to be accompanied by concrete action. This evolution highlights the ongoing need for vigilance, education, and advocacy to dismantle these racial stereotypes and create a media landscape that is far more respectful and inclusive for Black Americans. Thank you. This has been One Mic Black History. I'm your host, Country Boy. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. I'd like to thank all my Patreon subscribers. I love you all. Thank you. Without you, none of this could be possible. Peace.